Hey everybody, we are live on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will be getting started maybe in like 3 minutes, and we're very thankful for you joining us today. We got Robin coming to you today, sharing some deep breathing strategies. And this is going to be very beneficial whether you're in a school setting, at home, with your own student. And we're very excited that you can join us. Hopefully you got a chance to watch the video. Robin will also be showcasing the video during her presentation. So if you haven't had a chance, you can always go to miracle139international.org/video, and you can watch all of our nice little video tips videos. So feel free to check us out on there. And also, since we're on Facebook Live, there is a button where you can click to start a watch party. I would say it's over here, but sometimes I like to put it random places. So there's also like 3 dots that you can click, and it says start a watch party. So you can do that as well. So yeah, we will get started in about 2 minutes, and I will introduce Robin to you all. And for everyone that's joined us week after week, this is our third week of these Facebook Lives. We just thank you so much all for you joining us. It's been wonderful. And also, thank you to our trainers that have shared before. So if you haven't gotten a chance, please go back and watch Christy's video and Nicole's video. They were amazing. And again, you can watch the videos that they've presented on our website as well as our YouTube channel. So we will get started in about 1 more minute. And I would say kudos to Zoom for letting us stream through Facebook, because that was a game changer for us here at Miracle 139 International. And kudos to Robin for showing us how high-tech she is to get us into the 21st century. So again, if you're on our page, you can actually go right to Miracle 139 International on our Facebook page, and there's a button that you can start a watch party. It says watch together with friends or with a group. You just hit the start button. I'm going to actually do it on my own personal page right now, and it'll just share to your timeline, and you can say, well, because I'm cool, I'm going to say, hey, yo, come see what we're about. You don't have to say the same thing, but that's what I'm saying. And then you just click the start button, and now on your timeline, there's a watch party going on. There we go. All right, so it is 4:06, and without further ado, I would like to introduce Robin, who's going to be presenting deep breathing strategies. So welcome, Robin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robin. Adam, am I able to share my screen? Yes, no? I'm going to give it a shot. There we go. Excellent. Hi, I'm so excited to be here today with you guys. Let me figure out some techie things. And there we go. All right. Welcome. I'm going to talk to you guys today about using deep breathing as a calming strategy, and this is regarding the tips video that we have on our website, like Adam was mentioning. Smell the rose, blow out the candle. Again, I'm really happy that you guys are here. I would love to hear where you're from. Tell me why you're here today. Let me know in the comments section. We like to know who our audience is. And then also, please comment or ask questions throughout the training or at the end of the training, whatever works best for you. If you have any questions, there's somebody there who can answer them right away, or if we can't answer them right away, we can answer them at the end of the training. Like I said, my name is Robin. I am a Miracle 39 International trainer. We do special needs training and special needs ministry training around the world. I'm an educational specialist for students with moderate to severe disabilities. I'm also a board certified behavior analyst. I've been working at a non-public school for about 17 years. It's a really long time to be in one spot, but that's just kind of the person I am. I've been a teacher for 10 of those years and a behavior specialist for about 3 of those years. I'm also responsible for doing the teacher training at my school. I'm also a mom. I've got 2 little girls, and I also have 2 cats who may interrupt me during our training, so forgive me in advance for that. Just as a disclaimer, as a board certified behavior analyst, I have to make sure you all know that this is just informational. I'm not giving specific advice to anybody. Everybody may react differently according to, the strategy, depending on you teach it. So just know that I'm not offering advice. I'm just giving you information. And also, I did not invent this strategy. Somebody awesome invented this strategy, and I just gave a tips video on it. So, all right. So Adam mentioned earlier, we are kind of in uncharted territory. We've been in uncharted territory since March, and it seems like we're moving in that direction again. Some of you may be doing remote learning. Some of you might be physically returning to campus, but it's going to look way different than it did before. Some campuses are using hybrid models where they're doing a blend of distance learning and physically being on campus. The good thing about this strategy is that you can use it at home, you can use it at school. We also may be in a lot of situations where a student have a little bit more anxiety, whether it be at home or at school. So it's going to be useful no matter where you are or who you're with. Parents, you can use it. Teachers, you can use it. All right, let's see if this works. Adam, here we go. You could have picked like a better still shot for my face, by the way. That would have been nice, thanks. All right, here we go.
I'm going to talk about teaching calming strategies, and one calming strategy in particular. And this one is smell the rose and blow out the candle. Sometimes students with disabilities need to be very directly taught how to calm themselves down, and this is a way that I've found to be helpful to provide visual supports for calming strategies. These are pictures of a rose and a candle, as you can see, but you can also use actual roses or fake roses and an unlit candle. And how I use this is I will use it as a visual support for teaching a student how to do deep breathing. So first, when you're overexcited or getting anxious or stressed out, you have irregular breathing. So one way to help yourself calm down is to slow your rate of breathing, taking deep breaths in and out. And when you do that, the kids don't get to see what you're doing, but if you have a visual of a rose, and if they are in the habit of knowing to sniff a rose and blowing out a candle, and you have these visuals, you can use them to smell the rose, blow out the candle, and you can pace their breathing by providing these visual supports in a slow way so that they're inhaling slowly and exhaling slowly. And it's a calming strategy that I found to be helpful.
Adam, those videos turned out great. Good job. Okay, let's see if I can get to the next slide. Oh, perfect. Okay. So I talk about calming strategies in the video, and I showed you guys one particular calming strategy. I want to take a little minute to talk about what these terms are, calming strategies and coping skills. So using a calming strategy is part of a bigger picture. It's part of this picture of learning to use coping skills. So when I say coping skills, I mean everything that we do, the comprehensive skills that we use in situations that make us upset, frustrated, things that trigger us. And we use these strategies in order to kind of stay in a calm state. So in order to do this, we don't just use calming strategies and that's it. We need to be aware of our own emotional state, call that emotional awareness. We need to be able to label that state, name how you're feeling. We also have to control the impulses that we have so that we're not doing anything inappropriate or what might be considered socially inappropriate, like aggressive behavior or property destruction. Excuse me. And then after we follow these steps, we would use a calming strategy. So you engaging in an activity in order to keep us in a calm state. So you're going to have greater success when you integrate all of this into your teaching. But today I'm just going to be talking about using a calming strategy. And most importantly, these, like I said in the video, these strategies have to be explicitly taught sometimes, meaning you have to take time out of a child's day to show them how to use a calming strategy. So you need to teach them when they're calm. You can't just teach them when they're getting upset. And if you really want them to use it independently, it's a very important part of teaching coping skills. Nicole talked about this a little bit last week. If you haven't watched her video, it's fantastic. Go back and watch Nicole's video from last week. She talks about how to support a child who is upset or angry. And she mentioned using deep breathing as a way to keep ourselves calm. So we can also teach our children or adult learners, if you're working with adults, how to use this strategy, and maybe it'll help keep them calm. So she talked about fight or flight and different areas of the brain, which I thought was really great. But one thing that happens when you are feeling triggered, when you are getting upset, is your rate of breathing will speed up. It gets faster and faster and faster. So taking deep breaths actually helps to regulate your heart rate, and it can lower your blood pressure if you do it slowly, rhythmically, and if you're really intentional about it. Bare minimum, it can also just give a person something to do when they are upset. So it's giving them a task, like Nicole was talking about, something to do so that they can keep, she was talking about brain areas that in my head as a behaviorist, I just think, well, now they know what to do, because maybe the child knows I don't hit, but also now the child can think, now I can also do some deep breaths. So it gives them something to do. So the rose and candle strategy integrates the use of visual supports with modeling as a teaching strategy. Visual supports are visual images that are used to teach a skill. I had whole pages of a rose and a whole page of a candle. It doesn't have to be that. I just printed pictures from the internet. You can also, cut out magazines. You can do your own drawings. They also have apps and videos. They don't have to be that big. You can make them small depending on your learner. I've got this printed out right here. I know I'm kind of minimized in the corner, but they can be, this is about 2 inches. It can be on one page if you just want to point to it back and forth slowly. These ones I cut separately, and they're again about 2 inches big, and you can just, as long as your learner can discriminate, they don't have to be whole pages. They don't need to be cumbersome. It just depends on your learner's needs. Smelling the rose, blow out the candle also utilizes modeling, which is another strategy that can be effective for our students. And that's just basically showing a student how to do something by performing the action yourself and then having them repeat or follow along with that action. You can do this as a teacher or as a parent. You can also have peers or siblings be the role model. You can also record somebody being the model and then play that video back, and that's called video modeling. So these are all reasons why this can be effective for some students. It's adding that visual support in to teaching the calming strategy. I've thought of a little bit of variations for using the visual supports. Maybe roses and candles are interesting. Maybe you need something a little more tangible. So for breathing in, using perfumes, essential oils, things that are really, that actually are fragrant, and integrating that into the strategy is something that you can use. You just want to be careful. You don't want to overwhelm senses. You can use what the child likes that you already know he likes, or maybe you can do a little bit of assessment to see what they like to smell. Cake, chocolate. Some people like fresh cut grass. Maybe they just like a different flower. Or using a picture of somebody smelling a flower. Maybe they need that as a visual support for breathing in. For breathing out, instead of a picture of a candle, you could use an actual pinwheel. Those are the things that are on the sticks and you blow them and they go round and round. Or bubbles, or blowing a light object like a piece of paper across a table. Other picture variations you could use, maybe dandelions, pictures of people blowing out candles. And if you guys have ideas, please put them in the comment section, because this is obviously not comprehensive. This strategy can be used with child or adult learners who are receptive to learning from visual supports or modeling. So it's important that they are able to discriminate pictures if you're going to use it. You don't want to be using a visual support if it's not going to be helpful. They can't tell the difference between a rose and a candle, for example, or if they have visual impairments that makes it really difficult, it's not going to be an effective strategy for them. But if they can model you, then maybe you'll just use a modeling support. But they do need to be able to model, which is another prerequisite skill for who this strategy can be used with. The key to all learning is reinforcement too. So all skills need to be reinforced. Calming strategies are no different. It looks different for every child. Always keep in mind their individual preferences. We all don't like the same thing. So, excuse me. Maybe just verbal praise is needed. Maybe you practice the strategy and then do a fun activity. Maybe you take a break in the middle of math instruction and say, okay, let's practice the smell the rose, blow out the candle. And that might be reinforcing in itself. You're like, oh yes, no more math. And then maybe just reinforcement, social reinforcement from peers or siblings would be good. So, before I move forward, I just want to share a little story about this in my own life. I have a really vivid memory of playing baseball as a child. And I played a whole baseball season. I think that was in 5th grade or something. And I could not, for the life of me, hit the ball. I mean, I wasn't in fast pitch or anything. I was in, I don't know, the one where the coach pitches to you, and I couldn't hit the ball. And my mom told me before I went up to bat to take 10 deep breaths before I went to hit the ball. And I didn't think I was nervous. I didn't think that I needed to do it, but I did it anyways because she's my mom and you got to do what your mom says. And I took the 10 deep breaths, and for the first time in my life and the first time in that season, and that first pitch that my coach threw out, I hit the ball. And I think that's really significant in terms of just really understanding and me really believing that taking deep breaths can be a calming strategy. So I'm showing this slide because at first I had to be told to use that strategy by my mom. Maybe I didn't need the visual supports, but over time, I learned to use this on my own. Even before I logged on for this training, I took my deep breaths because I know I feel anxious and I know that taking these deep breaths is something that can help. So I've become an independent learner and I am independently using these skills when I need them. Most of the time, I am human also. And we need to keep in mind too that we don't want our learners to get stuck in this place where they need to be reminded to use a skill every time they confront a situation where they're getting upset or there's a triggering event. We want them to become proficient at using the skill by themselves. So as they do get better about using them, as you do practice it more, some strategies that you'll want to integrate into your practice is fading out the visual supports, meaning either you start with the visuals and then stop using the visuals, or intermittently using the visuals. You can make them smaller and smaller from that whole page into these 2-inch grids. You can fade the pictures out, like literally make them more transparent. Those are just some examples of how you can fade the visuals away. In terms of your modeling, you can taper your modeling off at the end, meaning you're going to model it in the beginning and then maybe you stop modeling it as they become more independent in doing it. Or maybe you just start with a cue of modeling. But the point is that you don't want to get stuck in using the visual supports. You don't want to get stuck in modeling it every single time that they need it. So keep this in mind when you're thinking about your teaching. We want our children to learn the strategies. Some things that you need to look out for, behavior analysts. I'm constantly thinking about function of behavior. And if this is your first time hearing the term, it just means that behavior, including aggressive behavior, including tantrums where students might be, or your child might be throwing things, all of it has a purpose. There's a reason for it. There's a why. It can be maybe they're trying to avoid something, maybe they're trying to get something, maybe it's a sensory reason. But the point is that all behavior has a function. Calming strategies is not to be used in place of this concept. It shouldn't ever get in the way of actually teaching your child how to communicate those needs. You don't want to neglect that you don't want to neglect teaching that in when you are trying to teach your calming strategy. So always keep that in mind. We need to teach them how to get their needs met in appropriate ways, and that's a whole other training all in itself. I hope that wasn't too confusing. Another thing to look out for, I have a little picture of a dentist office because I hate the dentist, but it's a good analogy for me because if you aren't responsible in taking care of your teeth and you go to the dentist, you're going to have to get a shot. You're going to have to get your cavities filled. It's going to be a negative experience every time you go if you don't take care of your teeth. But if you're good about taking care of your teeth, you go to the dentist and you're out. You get your x-rays, you get your teeth cleaning, and you're fine. Maybe it's not a negative experience. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you have enough bad experiences with a dentist that far outweigh the good experiences, the dentist is going to become a bad place for you to go. The same thing happens with lots of other things. So if this calming strategy, if this is something that you're going to cue your child to do every time they're upset without doing it on the other end of when they are calm and happy, if you don't create those positive experiences, using the prompts, using the visual supports, or using the modeling for taking deep breaths, you're at risk of that becoming something that can be aversive to a child. So you want to make sure that you are creating lots of positive experiences around using the strategy and not just using it after there's already been a trigger. So, somebody takes their doll and then all of a sudden they're upset and you're sitting there, okay, do your breathing. If that happens over and over and over again, that's just going to be, become negative in itself. Might as well just be taking their doll away from them. So be careful. Make sure you create lots of good things. I do actually use this. I've used it with lots and lots of my students. I usually combine it with a social story, which we read a story and then we role play. Maybe we did it daily or biweekly or weekly. It all depended on the student and their needs for learning the strategy. When the strategy was needed, I'd use phrases right directly from their social story, and we'd use cues that we already practiced. And then as a student got more independent over time, we would fade prompts. We would fade the cues until they were using it independently. I've also had students with more significant communication needs that they have actually started demonstrating the deep breathing as a way of telling me, hey, I'm getting upset. So that was another bonus that you get to use that moment to say and to teach them how to communicate that they're feeling upset. So you're helping them make those ties of that feeling that they're having in addition to taking those deep breaths. So you're taking those deep breaths. Oh, you must be feeling frustrated. So it becomes a platform for talking about their own emotions. So that's it. That wraps up Smell the Rose, Blow Out the Candle. Lots of details there. I know there was lots of information. So these are kind of the takeaways. To be effective, you just want to teach the students how to recognize their signs that they're getting angry. You're going to want to teach them multiple calming strategies, not just smell the rose, blow out the candle, but you want to give them tools in a toolbox. So it's just a hammer in the toolbox that they're pulling out if you're using that as a strategy. You want to make sure you're practicing these when they're calm, frequently and consistently. And also don't forget that reinforcement piece. You're going to want to make it something that they want to do. So that is it. I would love to hear your guys' comments, questions. You can leave them in the comments box. Is it comments box, Adam?
Yes, we have, you can comment on Facebook, and we know that some of you will be watching this later on. So please feel free to just drop any questions you might have whenever you watch this. We will get back to you to answer your questions. Robin, thank you so much for just sharing all this wonderful knowledge around the world. We can't thank you enough. And again, everyone, thank you so much for just joining us today. Again, put your questions in the chat, comment, and we will get back to you. And we have one more Facebook Live next Monday, same time, same station, 4 p.m. Pacific. That would be 7 p.m. Eastern. And sorry, the rest of the world, dial that in. But we would love to have you all. We're so thankful that you're joining us on this. And again, you can watch all these videos that Robin showed you. They're on our video tips website, miracle139international.org/video. And yeah, just check them out. We have them in English, Spanish, and Mandarin. And we're growing it. Every month we got some new content for you, so we're very thankful for that. And yeah, next week we have Marissa sharing about visual timers, so you don't want to miss that. So please join us. And yeah, thank you so much, Robin. It was amazing. And
thank you.
We look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
All right. Thank you all. And good night.
Good night.